waste management. So I will be more focusing on that part. But before proceeding towards that, I would like to tell you some important announcements related to tomorrow's program. So as we are already knowing that we have a practical demonstration over Manipal University, which is scheduled at after 10 AM onwards. But the professor over there recently joined as a visiting professor in BITS Goa campus. So unfortunately, he is not physically available there and he is available to us online. So we have scheduled his lecture prior to the visit, that is 9 AM to 10 AM in this seminar hall. So I request everyone to please assemble in this hall at 8:45 AM. Then only we will be able to proceed as per the timings or timelines we have decided. So will you be able to do that? Yes. Okay everyone? So and we will arrange for your breakfast, so not to worry about that, that you won't be able to get on time your breakfast in the hostels. And another thing is we have few participants commuting from Jaipur on a daily basis. So I request them to please join online, for which I will specifically share the online link to them. So I think we have 3 participants. This is the list. So Saurabh Chaudhary is one. Is Saurabh here? List is, where is the list? List is also with it. And 2 more participants, I think, आप हैं शायद Saurabh. I think उसके अलावा कोई ऐसा नहीं है ना जो जयपुर से आ रहे हैं डेली बेसिस पर, ठीक है? So आप लोग वो लिंक मुझसे ले लीजिएगा और उसको प्लीज ज्वाइन करिएगा, है ना? So that the requirement for the course completion will be recorded and it is mandatory to attend all the sessions, है ना? To complete the requirement for the JAM program. So with this and we will have lunch arrangement in the Manipal campus. So you will be free after lunch and will be come back and you have sufficient time to move around in and around Kishangarh or Ajmer, wherever you want to go. So any other query you have for tomorrow? No? All set? Okay. Please carry enough water with you because it is extremely hot nowadays, right? So rehydrate yourself in order to prevent from the extreme heat. So I am coming back to the topic and waste management, but I am showing you a picture full of water because this is a personal picture clicked by Professor Neeraj Gupta in Department of Architecture. Once upon a time, when at gate number 3, the pond was this filled in 2012, and this is the harvested water of the campus. So I used to quote about this a number of times in the class, but not able to show that picture. This is exactly the picture, and these are the girls' hostel buildings. So now you can relate how beautiful this campus could have been, can be more. So in order to discuss more possibilities of having carbon from waste, let's define waste. Maybe some of these items are repetitive in number, but I would like to set a tone for the presentation. And waste is anything, or I define pollution is anything out of time, out of consideration and out of place is nothing but pollution. So waste is a substance, whether it is solid, liquid or gaseous, that is no longer useful. So this word useful is a perceptual waste. Maybe it is not useful for me, but it is useful for you. So we define waste in some various perceptual categories, but the waste we define it when it is not for intended purpose, right? And it is disposed of or intended for disposal. So we leave it, we don't use it further. But then we define different types of waste in various categories on the basis of their composition, on the basis of their origin, and we call it as a municipal solid waste, hazardous waste, industrial waste, e-waste, radioactive waste and plastic waste. These two are the, you can say, post-millennial composition, and sometimes we say that hazardous waste is not my cup of tea. I am not generating hazardous waste, but you are a part of it nowadays. So we cannot define that any particular type of waste is not my category. somewhere we are linked with all these types of waste. So and waste versus byproduct, because we are talking about a product out of these waste. So it's a byproduct is a joint product or of relatively minor economic value, and a waste product may become a byproduct if the value is raised above zero. So we define it as a byproduct when the value is above zero. So waste management is actually a broader term. We usually talk about waste management, but there are a series of steps that are followed in a manner, then only we talk about management, because word management is a very heavy word. It has a lot of things like capacity building, training, then synchronized steps. All these things when fall in place, then we talk about waste management. And the term waste management refers to number of efforts lied in synchrony, segregation, collection, transportation, processing, recycling, and then disposal. So these are the series of steps which will follow further. So it starts from waste generation, and you will be happy to know that India is still not producing as much as USA is producing, that is more than 2.5 kgs per person per day. We are still less than the average production of the waste in the world, that is 0.75 kg per person per day. So you can see this map where whole of United States of America is falling into the dark category, more than 900 to 1000. The more capitalized, the more financially rich, the more high standards of living, and the amount of waste they are generating. And this figure keeps on increasing and decreasing with so many number of factors that play a very crucial role, that is living standards, commercial activity, eating habits, geographical locations, and the climate of that place. In India, we are fortunate to see number of areas with zero waste generation. They are now emerging as standard set case studies being highlighted. And I am going to show you one video like that in one of the most urban city in center. Our urban eateries are full of such kind of plates, right? So we have been used to of this. आज नहीं तो कल नहीं तो परसों ऐसा खा ही लेंगे, or something like this will be on our dining table, right? But along with this, what else we are also accumulating? Every human consumes about 44 pounds of plastic throughout their lifetime. Every week we are accumulating one credit card size of plastic. You must have been reading this kind of material. And why from where it is coming? Because our dining table is full of such eatables. So somewhere we are, if we talk about waste management, it is not somebody else or a NIMBY theory, which was also discussed in our department earlier. Not in my backyard. It is not my theory. Not in my backyard. But we are part of all this. Amazon shopping. Every day I hear, "Mera parcel aaya, I am going there." Every day there is a parcel from our scholars lab, right? And with that parcel, a small amount of item, rest is waste. So you are part of that waste generation. Somewhere we need to self-introspect where I am producing this waste. And then typically excessive level of microplastics are already there in bottled water. Even ISC reported that microplastics are part of RO water. The instrument which requires the analysis is a very high-end instrument, and it is saying that it is a part of that water. I wonder, हमारा सारा पानी जो है वो ऊपर छत पे टंकियों में रखा रहता है, constant 40 to 45 degrees temperature. Just imagine that water, what it is mixing. प्लास्टिक की टंकियाँ हैं सारी, not cemented टंकियाँ जो हमारी पुरानी होती थी, जिसमें ठंडा पानी बना रहता था longer duration. आज आप शाम को when I am reaching home, I find my taps are full of boiled water, geyser on किया हुआ है जैसे. So high rates of assimilating chemicals which it has in its body, right? Variety of foods and beverages with plastic in contact. Some of these pictures are much like my own house, my own dining table has it. This is my own house. composition and how it has become a challenge for everyday people who are involved. It is not somebody's problem, it is my own problem, how to deal with it. Definitely there are resources we needed to have a proper waste management aspect, but then where I really can contribute. So we need to understand the composition of waste we are generating, and it says that typical Indian cities has 50% of it is biomass related, which we have been studying by sir that biomass related or renewable carbon from this particular waste. But rest 50% is also from various other activities, also full of hydrocarbons. So apart from biomass, the second category is paper waste, full of carbon. And the third category, there is a tussle between the textile waste or the plastic waste. Definitely plastic waste will come up very easily, very smooth. So the challenge lies is composition very significantly depending on the factors like local economic, lifestyle and population density. And this is not that we are collecting waste. The manner we are collecting waste, it has become challenge for these people how to address this collected waste. And it is not that they are trained to organize this waste. They are not trained. They are using their own mechanism to sort this waste. So if they are able to find out money out of it, they are just doing like that. Typical waste composition, pictures collected by our lab, inadequate infrastructure, limited recycling. This is complete organic or food kind of a waste, but you can just see how the other type of waste is it is making it more complex. What processing it has to do. So the sorting is not very easy, and to whom we are applying this responsibility? किसको साफ करना है उसमें से? It is again a matter of human life. आप हाथ डालेंगे इसके अंदर, मैं हाथ डालूंगी इसके अंदर. It is not very readily acceptable, isn't it? So why we are increasing this burden to another human life? This is a picture taken in a posh area in Jaipur city. Just look at it. If you can expand this, if you can see, these are glass bottles. This is a rat picker. He is trying to collect. Can you see what it is? What he is trying to collect? Can you magnify? Or I'll help out. कुछ orange blue color की जो थैलियाँ हमारी daily life से निकलती है ना, दूध की थैलियाँ, nothing else. So he is trying to pick this milk pouches जो daily हमारे उससे आ रहे हैं. हाँ, थोड़ा left. And he is bare-handed. और उसके नीचे देखिए आप प्लास्टिक है, उसके नीचे कांच की बॉटल्स हैं. मतलब इस कचरे में टूटा हुआ कांच भी होगा, पैथोजेंस भी होंगे, and another human life is intruding his own bare hands. So we are putting some life into this. Then at the same corner of this, you can see another life is into trying to find out food from these packet sealed है ना organic waste. अच्छे से थैली में बांध के 2 गांठ बांध के अच्छे से निकले नहीं, बट वो एनिमल कैसे मतलब उसको चैलेंजिंग तो है बट ट्राइंग, वो अपना पूरी कोशिश करेंगे मुंह से उसको खोलने की, फाड़ने की. इन दैट वे दे विल कंज्यूम सम प्लास्टिक बैग आउट ऑफ इट. एंड देन दिस इज द साइट ऑफ अ लैंडफिल, एंड यू कैन इमेजिन समटाइम्स it is reported that in the highest amount or the highest peak of a landfill is in Maharashtra, and it is supposed that they are now trying to obstruct the flight passage because of the height of that landfill is reaching to that level. So and definitely the avian biodiversity over these landfills. So you can imagine that there is a sequence of biodiversity or sequence of life that are connected. It is not just living slowly, not in my backyard, but it is everyone's story. So and again a human life is trying to find out some items they can sell and gain some money out of it. So who is of garbage where huge amount of it is only plastic. जैसे सर बोल रहे थे ना कि when we have to transport our agricultural waste to a site where we can process it, convert it to a biofuel. Just imagine the way the plastic waste is also transported from one place to another. It is also a challenge. It is also a challenge. And if you try to observe your own dustbin in the house, it is also full of only paper and plastic. Otherwise, अगर आप किचन वेस्ट या दूसरा तरह का वेस्ट देखेंगे, आप एक हफ्ते तक आपको फेंकने की जरूरत ही नहीं पड़ेगी. If you pay attention to the dustbin, what it is holding every day, it is paper and plastic, nothing else. Chain of microplastics. I am shifting. Topic is very close to my heart. Microplastic is everybody's problem, and how it is entering into other life forms. It is very well accepted now. It is papers every day. There is a news on plastic and microplastic, and you can see the connection from where there are types of microplastic: primary microplastics, secondary microplastics. Primary is generated from that plastic which it is produced, and secondary is to another form the plastic is being used, and then it is discarding the plastic particles, and it is entering to all these life forms and coming back to us. So have you ever heard of public health department who supplies water to our systems, urban municipalities and all? Have you ever heard of, are these bodies checking these contaminants in their water systems? They are only, today also they are checking alkalinity, salinity, hardness, TDS, pH maximum, right? These are the only parameters. Still we are finding these kind of chemicals in everyday water. Tap में आपके पानी जो आ रहा है वो है इसके अंदर, but there is no protocol or no policy that we must also have some observation on these emerging contaminants in our public systems. Isn't it a challenge which is posed by the human society and has to be addressed by the human society? So this is one part. Another is the additive chemicals with which these plastics are produced. So these chemicals are added to these plastic manufacturing, and at the time of manufacturing in order to give them either some hardness or some transparency or longer shelf life, right? So BPA, one of the oldest endocrine disruptor known chemical, and banned in Western countries. Believe me, it is banned, and you are these bottles or products are marketed BPA free, but they are not totally free in our system. You must agree, number of pesticides banned by Western world still prevalent in our systems, still there in our soils. How is it possible? Because we are not fully agree to eliminate these compounds from our daily life. We want to crack every problem with one simple solution called the big chemical, that is DDT. And such chemicals are prevalent in our everyday life. So these products full of these chemicals, additive chemicals, halide esters, sir talked about PFAs in non-sticky cookware. It is also a challenge. There is a small movie on Teflon. Please go and watch it. The Teflon, we will share you that link. Please watch it. How Teflon, it is produced in United States, I think. It was very popular because the whole economic industry is going to be disturbed. That's why this movie is not that popular. It is a short movie available on YouTube. So I recommend that to see. Microplastics have been found in human placenta. Recent report. It is, everyone is aware of it. So it has reached to that level. It has migrated to that newborn who is still not born. So already contaminated. So what is the rule say? Plastic waste management rule, which was framed in 2016, says that it is a mandate the generators of plastic waste to take steps to minimize the generation of plastic waste, not to litter the plastic waste. It is the rule. How it is followed? अगर आप नीचे जाएंगे अमूल के कॉर्नर पे, you can see how it is violated. And even I am not aware of these rules. Some of these aspects are very new to me. And ensure the segregated storage of waste. So everything comes down to segregation. So even the rule is talking about the most important step in management is what does this mean? Means you must have heard that in some of there was a big institute and Distillery has installed the collection depots for the discarded plastic bottles. So it is out of that extended producer responsibility, which says that the producer has to ensure to collect that discarded plastic, which must reach to the producer in order to recycle it completely, right? So this is also in accordance with the rules. So we have to ensure that even if we are collecting or purchasing that plastic material, it has the producer responsibility. They have to ensure if it goes to the consumer, it must come back. If you remember, we used to use a crate of glass bottles for Thumbs Up and Coca-Cola. We used to buy it from the shopkeeper, consume it, and we return it back to the shopkeeper. Then it will go to the company. They will wash, reuse, and then they will resell it. This was a very sustainable way. Now, because of more handy, more user-friendly approaches, we are trying to buy the plastic bottles. Would like to tell you, the shelf life of a glass bottle is 6 months, and the shelf life of a plastic bottle is only 3 months. And the quality of the product also decreases because we don't have those taste testers in our tasting buds. We don't realize the difference what a plastic bottle product has or what a glass bottle product has. So, but there is a huge difference, right? So waste management steps, as I told earlier: segregation, collection, storage, transport, treatment, and disposal. This is a perfect management step in if any type of waste, for any type of waste. In fact, these steps came out with first biomedical waste management and handling rules 1998. It was the only waste which was treated very seriously. And you must have heard about National Rural Health Mission. It was implemented all over India, and it became the part of National Rural Health Mission (NRHM), where the primary health centers and the community health centers take forward. Community and primary health centers are the bedded hospitals, 5-bedded and 50-bedded. They came forward and they initiated that they are going to implement this biomedical waste management rules. So if the biomedical waste is that serious, nowadays every waste is that serious, because it is now intruding in your ecosystems. It is becoming a part of your food chain, your ecosystems, agriculture, water, everywhere it is. So segregation and some of the positive news which I find in newspapers also help me to it is a pleasure to share with you all that they have started to think about the first step, that is segregation, where we can start thinking about reuse, reduce, repair, or recycle, or regift. So our 3 hours से 4 hour हुआ, 5 hour हुआ, 7 hour हुआ, 9 hour तक पहुंच चुका है. Just because of segregation, the most important step in waste management. And segregation actually started with dry waste and wet waste. It was the original purpose, biodegradable, non-biodegradable. But if you can think about the first zero fabric waste पर काम कर रही गांव की महिलाएं, पुराने कपड़ों से खिलौने बैग तो कतरन से पेपर बन रहा. This is how people are really going and approaching for sustainable waste. Then there is hazardous waste, which is another big category of waste. Everyone is. How many of you are really changing your mobile phones every 2 years? Nobody? Very good approach. Every 2 years. Every 5 years. थोड़े हाथ और करो. Every 7 years. Last 10 years. Please एक हाथ दो. Very good. So these are the. What do you do of that discarded phone? It is still here with you. It is an electronic waste, and with every electronic item that you carry with you, right? So you are part of that hazardous waste generation. You are part of that electronic waste generation, but you do not know what to do with that because we don't have policies. There is a lack of training, infrastructure, facilities. We understand that there are rules but not properly implemented. That is why we are failing in the proper management. Sanitary waste, another challenge. So segregation, I would like to highlight, Indore has been the cleanest city by Swachh Sarvekshan survey from past 7 years. Constantly it is coming on the top of the list. Followed by, anybody? Followed by second cleanest city? Surat, second cleanest city. So just why they have become, because there is a door-to-door waste collection system we all have, but how do they collect? They separate the dry and wet waste. The first step is maintaining this at the top of the cleanest city list. Waste is recycled, composted and used for energy recovery, right? Then public engagement, one of the most important factor, how public can play an important role, right? Through educational campaigns, community participation, incentive schemes to encourage residents to be clean. So what do you mean by incentive schemes?
Radio stations it's available.
Huh?
In radio stations, some radio stations.
It is available. If you give them blank bottles, yes. Or similarly, we can initiate it with milk pouches, some bags, right? So these are the incentive schemes, but how many of us are really eager to do it? If we are eager, then we can also recommend the organization, please do it. We are eager to do it. I will carry one bag with myself to a D-Mart or a store. You give me some incentive out of it. 5 रुपए कम में दो मुझे. मेरे पूरे बिल में से 5 रुपए कम लगाना. Let's have some idea and discuss with them. If I will carry, so it happened with me. Few of the grocery stores I went and I said कि वो थैली में पैक करके मुझे देते हैं और मैं कहती हूँ नहीं ये मत दो. अरे मैडम सिर्फ आप ही हो जो मना करते हो. ये तो लोग तो थैली और ले लेना चाहते हैं. So they are really happy in doing that. We have to encourage them as consumers. This is the right way. And ultimately you must have seen as the population is escalating, the problems are escalating. So we cannot just depend on government to take initiative through legal actions. We have to start giving them solutions. It is our turn now, right? And then a robust waste treatment infrastructure. Definitely, there are some common treatment facilities in every city, outside the city definitely. But these are very limited because it is very expensive and very difficult to continue with the facility. So the infrastructure is also very expensive to come up with the government systems. So the next step of waste management is collection, door-to-door collection, community bins and street sweepings. So with every house, it will go to a common dustbin at the corner of your street. From there, the municipality vehicle will come in a 2 days or 3 days frequency, right? And then it will come. The irony is that we have only one street worker with 600 households. So there are less people into this occupation because they are not treated with that respect. जो कहते हैं ना हम ये बात होती है कचरे वाला आया, वो कचरा वाला नहीं है, वो सफाई वाला है. बट हम उसको कैसे पुकारते हैं? कचरा वाला आया. क्या वो कचरे वाले तो हम हैं actually. So if the respect shifts from us to them, definitely there will be more people into this, and we will be able to address the collection system. Transportation, how it is transferred. अगर हम घर में अलग-अलग कर भी लेंगे तो it will get mixed in the vehicle. But do we really agree कि हमें ऐसे ही भेजना है vehicle में? आप segregation का एक margin बना के लाइए. So compacted trucks, tippers, covered vans in order to prevent the littering and odor. Transport of specialized waste like expired medicine. If these medicines are there in your house and you are putting in the dustbin, you are discarding a hazardous waste in municipal solid waste. So you are part of that hazardous waste. And this news encouraged me. घर घर से expired दवाइयाँ इकट्ठा कर नष्ट की जाएगी. A program called End Proud, new program for removal of unused drugs, initiated by Kerala government. So there are provisions. People are coming with government schemes also. But have you ever thought of what do we do with the expired medicines? Are they totally expired? Common salt में convert हो गए? No, they are still biologically active, and we are discarding them. Solid waste वाले डब्बे में डाल दिया, वो नुक्कड़ में डाल दिया, वहाँ पे गाय आ रही है, कोई जानवर आ रहा है, वो बारिश के पानी के साथ लीच होकर के नीचे आपके ग्राउंड वाटर में भी मिक्स हो गया, and there is no provision to check it when the public water system is providing water to your houses, right? So we are adding these chemicals with our own. हम कहते हैं कि पानी गंदा आ रहा है, पानी में कलर आ रहा है, पानी में बदबू आ रही है. Who is doing it? We have to address all these things. I'm sorry I have little shifted your Gyan course curriculum, but there are angles to be pondered upon. So the treatment options we have recycling, composting, और ये सब सर ने बात की होगी. Anaerobic digestion, mechanical, biological treatment, biological include composting, vermicomposting, very popular to our systems, thermal incineration, pyrolysis, and for hazardous waste we have chemical treatment. So I am not going into details because you have been hearing about it a number of times. Then we have recycling processes. Out of the total plastic which is generated, only 30% is recycled. And out of that 30%, 70% is at registered facilities, 20% non-registered, 10% home. हम अंदर ही अंदर उसको कुछ ना कुछ फॉर्म में यूज करके रिसाइकिल करते हैं, राइट? मैकेनिकल रिसाइकलिंग, सॉल्ट्स एंड प्लास्टिक प्रोसेसेस, प्लास्टिक, chemical recycling like depolymerization and pyrolysis. But pyrolysis, incineration are not very eco-friendly ways because they generate huge amount of gases. Another problem to solve, right? So this is not a very eco-friendly process until the technology is that advanced that it is able to combat these gases out of it. For disposal facilities, we have sanitary landfills, we have scientific dumping. There are two types of landfill. One is called secured landfill, another is landfill. So what is the difference between secured landfill and landfill? Secured is it has a boundary, okay, which will not penetrate the groundwater or adjacent soil. And the landfill is a simple landfill. One day it will be over, और फिर उसके बाद हम दूसरा landfill ढूंढेंगे. तो अब तो landfill का mountains ज़्यादा है. Beneath the ground कम हो गया, काम ऊपर बढ़ गया. And there is a encouraging news in the newspaper last Sunday. We will have biomining the waste of the waste. So all these mountains will have. So it is there in the government systems, but it will take time. So let us really watch this movie, and then I will enter my presentation.
तेरे स्टोरी में कैसे रहना है? ये मैं नहीं बताऊंगा, ये बताएंगे, ये लो। मैं ये कोशिश करती हूँ कि मेरी कॉलोनी में फूड वेस्ट ना और जितना भी फूड वेस्ट हो वो सब का सब कंपोस्ट में कन्वर्ट हो। मैं इंश्योर करती हूँ कि हमारी कॉलोनी में कोई भी पुराने कपड़े फेंके नहीं, बल्कि ये क्लीन अप क्लोथ्स को नीडी लोगों के पास पहुँचाया जा सके।
मैं अपनी कॉलोनी के बच्चों को वेस्ट होने से बचाता हूँ और
कैसे रही है ये हम सबके लिए जानना बहुत ही ज्यादा जरूरी है। एक्चुअली 4 साल पहले एमसीडी की नवजीवन कॉलोनी एक जीरो वेस्ट कॉलोनी कैसे बनी?
स्टेशन के जरिए मेरे
बारे में अमेरिका
इस बार का जोर देते हैं कि सूखे और गीले कचरे को घर में ही अलग कर दिया जाए।
मैं ये ध्यान देती हूँ कि हमारे गाड़ी का जो वेस्ट निकलता है वो भी सड़क पे ना फेंका जाए, उसको हम लोग ढंग से संभाल लेते हैं। पर अराउंड 250 रेसिडेंट्स वाली ये कॉलोनी इतना सब कुछ कर कैसे रही है ये हम सबके लिए जानना बहुत ही ज्यादा जरूरी है। एक्चुअली 4 साल पहले एमसीडी की टीम के मेंबर्स हमारी कॉलोनी में हमें
छोटे बदलावों को अपनाकर अपनी रोजमर्रा की जिंदगी में बदलाव ला सकते हैं, समाज में एक नया संदेश दे सकते हैं।
तो इस कॉलोनी के कुछ लोगों ने डिसाइड किया कि वो अपनी कॉलोनी को जीरो वेस्ट कॉलोनी बनाएंगे।
आपकी रोजमर्रा की जिंदगी में
अगर इंटरनेट ऑन है तो कैन यू प्लीज लाइट
कि नवजीवन कॉलोनी एक जीरो वेस्ट कॉलोनी कैसे बनी और इस कॉलोनी का सारा वेस्ट आखिर जाता कहाँ है।
हम सबसे ज्यादा तवज्जो सेग्रीगेशन पर देते हैं। इससे सूखा कचरा रिसाइकिल हो जाता है और गीला कचरा कंपोस्ट बन जाता है।
और वेस्ट सेग्रीगेशन में हमारी मेल्स और वेस्ट कलेक्टर्स का
सूखा कचरा रिसाइकिल हो जाता है।
तो हमने एक श्रेडर खरीदा और जितने सूखे पत्ते निकलते हैं सब श्रेड करके हमने हर एक पार्ट में लीफ कंपोस्टर्स में डाल दिए और देखते ही देखते 3 या 4 महीने के अंदर हमें बहुत अच्छा खाद मिल जाता है जिसको हम अपने कार के पौधों में यूज करते हैं।
क्योंकि अब ये कचरा घरों से ही सेग्रीगेट हो रहा है, इससे ये भी जाहिर है कि अब ये डायरेक्टली रिसाइकलिंग के लिए तैयार है।
अभी भी कई सारी चीजों पे काम करना बाकी था।
और हम ये भी जानते थे कि जो फार्मिंग या रेन वाटर का पानी वेस्ट हो रहा है उसको भी हम इकट्ठा करें और उसको सेव करें। उसके लिए हमने 5 लोकेशन आइडेंटिफाई की जहाँ पे फार्मिंग में रेन वाटर जमा हुआ था। तो हमने 5 वाटर हार्वेस्टिंग प्लेस बनाई और पानी को चैनलाइज किया जिससे कि ग्राउंड वाटर जगह को निकाल दिया। हमने 3 वाटर हार्वेस्टिंग प्लेस और बनाई।
साथ ही हमने अपने घरों के नीचे एरेटर्स फिक्स कराए हैं सो दैट वाटर का फ्लो कम हो जाए और पानी को हम एफिशिएंटली यूज कर सकें।
ये सब करने के बाद हमने अगला स्टेप ये लिया कि हम फैब्रिक वेस्ट पे भी ध्यान देंगे। इसलिए हर 2-3 हफ्ते में हम अपनी कॉलोनी में क्लॉथ डोनेशन ड्राइव करते हैं जिसमें लोग अपने प्री-लव क्लोथ्स डोनेट करते हैं। इससे ये कपड़े वेस्ट नहीं होते और नीडी लोगों के काम आ जाते हैं।
इतना ही नहीं हमारे कॉलोनी में काफ़ी लोग बायोएंजाइम अपने घरों में खुद बना लेते हैं। ये बनाना बहुत आसान है। सब्जी के छिलके या खट्टा किसी फलों के छिलके से बहुत आसानी से बनता है। ये एक नेचुरल केमिकल फ्री क्लेंजिंग लिक्विड है जो अपने घरों में किचन टॉप्स या सिंक्स बेसिन्स सफा करने के लिए यूज़ किया जाता है।
इससे 2 चीजें होती हैं। एक कि बायोएंजाइम के यूज से केमिकल से बने क्लीनर्स को अवॉइड किया जा सकता है और दूसरा कि इससे प्लास्टिक बॉटल्स की नेचर में ऐड होने से बच जाएंगी। और ऐसे नवजीवन कॉलोनी सक्सेसफुली जीरो वेस्ट कॉलोनी बन गई। और साथ ही बहुत ही ज्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट है कि हम सब इस कॉलोनी से इंस्पिरेशन लें और अपनी सोसाइटी को भी जीरो वेस्ट बनाने की कोशिश करें क्योंकि ऐसा करना पॉसिबल है। ये तो नवजीवन विहार कॉलोनी ने प्रूव कर दिया है। इनफैक्ट हमारे इन इनिशिएटिव से आसपास की कई कॉलोनीज प्रेरित हुई और इनमें से 3 ने हमारे ही जीरो वेस्ट मॉडल को अपनाया और एनवायरनमेंट को बचाने के लिए एक स्टेप लिया है। अगर आपको नवजीवन विहार की ये स्टोरी इंस्पायरिंग लगी तो कोशिश करिएगा कि ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा लोगों को उनकी ये स्टोरी पता लगे so that ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा कॉलोनीज जीरो वेस्ट में कन्वर्ट हो सके। That's it. See you next time.
told us many things about waste management and they are actually doing this zero waste colony concept. They are working with Delhi Municipal Corporation, various different hospitals also and very eager to come to campus again. She has given one proposal for her today. Let us see if we can propose that. So would like to say with these things that please encourage these materials in your life and start doing the segregation and minimizing waste at your end. Thank you so much. This is micron size, so definitely it is not measurable by visible eyes or some filter which is available to us. But there are some instruments. One is called FTIR, then FTIR, and another is micro FTIR. So this micro FTIR is the advanced instrument which can measure microplastics even in RO water. So that is available. Other than that, we have some microscopy level test and chromatography test available, which are there to monitor. But because of these advanced instrumentation, maybe government is not very keen to adopt it at analyzing centers. But I don't know how skilled the labor is required to analyze, but it is there.
Suppose you are keeping something in the plastic, you are consuming. So microplastics is being transferred to the food, right? At what temperature these will be transferred?
So these are reported results in research papers. When you use those disposable cups, the inner lining is polystyrene, and with every 15 minutes, 25,000 microparticles are added to that cup of tea that you consume. And with 3 cups of tea, 75,000 micron particles are added to your body.
Normal temperature, atmosphere
The tea temperature that we consume.
No, that's why I'm saying what level of temperature?
So, 15 minutes में भी consume. So it is more than 50-60 degrees. टी जब चाय बनती है तो कितना टेम्परेचर होता है? 70-80 का तो हम कंज्यूम करते ही हैं.
No, any record I'm asking from the
So there are research papers who are, I am quoting the research paper only.
Okay. So 60 to 70.
70 degrees. Cold storage is okay, but pH and temperature plays an important role in adding these chemicals and microplastics into the solution. Yes, Shubham.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for the nice presentation. And raising again instead of this topic, waste, mainly the plastic waste. So, ma'am, if we talk about for our university, what do you think segregation के regarding तरफ देखिए और हम सिर्फ अपने फ्लोर के बारे में बात करें, यहाँ पर कितने तरीके के कंटेनर्स होने चाहिए
अपने फ्लोर पर
मिनिमम?
So segregation starts with dry and wet. So these two types of containers are placed in our campus. Blue and green, if you observe.
At our floor.
Floor पे see, it is up to us. If I have the time and energy to discard one type of waste, at least every type of waste on the ground floor, that is okay. Most of the population passes through. They carry their waste, drop it there. It is there. Why you want to have that comfort zone that मेरे floor पर हो, मेरे कमरे में भी हो, मेरे बेड के बगल में भी हो? It will increase the volume every time. And आपको जब कष्ट आएगा ना कि मुझे वहाँ तक जाके डस्टबिन में डालना पड़ेगा, you will start thinking how I can reduce the amount of waste. So I tell you one problem. My friend lives in Switzerland. She says मेरी ज़िंदगी की सबसे बड़ी प्रॉब्लम है कूड़ा, because she has to manage that waste. वो डाउनटाउन तक जाकर के अपने वेस्ट को डिस्कार्ड करके आती है. वो कहती है कि मैं इसको रिड्यूस करने के बारे में ही सोचती रहती हूँ सारे दिन. तो जब आपको वो कष्ट आएगा, आपको कचरा डालने जाना है, then you will start applying it. और आपको पता चल जाएगा कि मुझे इसको रिसाइकिल करना है, मुझे इसको कूड़े के उसमें डालना है.
So, ma'am, according to you, we should have at least 2 containers.
I won't say it. I don't say कि you should have a कूड़ेदान for a paper waste or a plastic waste. You can even recycle it.
It's better to have a
It is only for wet waste. It is needed for wet waste.
No, it's better to have a recycling bin.
Recycling
machine along with the dustbin.
So,
Plastics can be recycled
tell
immediately.
you one example. Most of the students must be a part of it. We had a plastic drive. Tide challenge. और उसमें से 100 किलो को हमारा लोहा निकला था कैंपस में से. कितने बोरे हमारे प्लास्टिक के निकले थे? And we had no policy of recycling. And then लोहा तो हम उसको बेच भी नहीं पाए because authorities denied. लेकिन प्लास्टिक के लिए उन्होंने बोला आप रेड पिकर्स के साथ जाकर के बात कर लीजिए और वो आराम से ले जाएंगे. तो if we have these recycling options available, if we can coordinate, why to put it in a waste bin जिसमें आपका wet waste भी पड़ा हो? Hope I addressed. I won't recommend waste bins. I would recommend segregation.
Yes, ma'am.
we say bins, I mean to say segregation bins only.
Exactly.
Because in our hostel there is no such different segregated bins or something. But अब तक भी मैम ऐसा है कि फैसिलिटी वर्सेस इग्नोरेंस वाला काम है। फैसिलिटी को मैं आज तक भी अवॉइड नहीं कर पाया, लेकिन हाँ इग्नोरेंस मेरे से नहीं होता। जैसे आज तक मैं ठेला नहीं ले जा पाया, ये एक चीज़ है। फैसिलिटी इतनी ज़्यादा देती है प्लास्टिक, लेकिन ऐसा भी कभी नहीं हुआ कि मैंने रूम पे लाने के बाद सेग्रीगेट ना किया हो। मैं
Very good, very encouraging.
बड़े बड़े 5-5 किलो वाली प्लास्टिक मेरी रहती है, जैसे ही मैं यूज़ किया वो वहीं तक है। अशरफ सर मेरे साथ ही रहते थे उधर ही, he knows very well. और I have my separate bin
So
in my room.
whatever you are doing, please replicate it. Tell your friends. It is why I made this presentation to such dynamic gathering. Even if it is not the core part of your biofuels, but it was necessary to inculcate this idea of having a thought process. What I am putting in the bin.
मैं आज तक भी अपने मुझे नहीं लगता किसी भी हॉस्टल में 2 सेग्रीगेटेड अपने डस्टबिन्स हैं, लेकिन मैं वहाँ पे जाता हूँ, वेट वाला उसी में डालता हूँ और वो वाला अपनी पॉलीथीन में कि ये टोटल प्लास्टिक वेस्ट है।
Each one of you start thinking like this, na, lot of problem is solved out. Very good, I appreciate it. Any other? Okay, thank you.